You're gonna waste 2 weeks of your life if you don't listen to me. Now, I'm not saying this to be dramatic. I'm saying it because if you move through the next 14 days the same way you move through most of this year, you're going to end up on January 1st in the same exact cycle. So pause whatever else you're doing right now and really be here for a second. Because here's 10 things you need to do to lock in for 2026 in these last 2 weeks. First thing, let's be really honest about this year. Think back to the start of 2025. January, you were on a high, fresh notebooks, new routines, buying highlighters, writing your goals. You told yourself, this is my year and I'm actually serious this time. But don't we say that every year? Real life creeps in. A few weeks in, that perfectly structured routine started to crack. Work, school, family, relationships, everything demanded your energy. You realize that motivation is cute, but it doesn't wash your face for you at 6 a.m., and it doesn't open your laptop when you'd rather scroll on TikTok. By March or April, you were already tired. You got sick, you burnt out, or you simply got bored. Progress was slower than your TikTok feed. Other people's 30-day transformations made you feel like you were behind, so instead of adjusting, you quietly started doing less. You told yourself you'd get back on it when life calmed down, but life never calms down. It just changes. So mid year, you had a few good runs, you got back in the gym for a bit, you posted consistently for a week or two, you had a productive season, but then something knocked you out of rhythm. Maybe a trip, situationship, deadlines, work, drama, or just pure exhaustion from life. And then instead of finding your way back, you drifted. You had moments of guilt. Why am I still here? Why do I keep starting over? You watched other people's glow ups, and then you felt that mix of inspiration and a little bit of jealousy. But it's okay, we've all been there. And then the last quarter of the year hit. Everyone started saying, it's okay, I'll just get back in January. Then you started saying it too. December became the emotional dumping ground for all things future you is supposed to magically fix. And now we're here. 2 weeks left. Not a lot of time, right? But here's the truth. These next 2 weeks can either be a continuation of your old pattern or proof that you're done living like that. Second thing you need to know is it's not too late unless you decide that it is. I want you to really feel this and say it. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not lazy or undisciplined. You're not meant for it. You're just stuck in a loop. You know what to do. You consume content about what to do, but you rarely execute long enough to see your identity actually change. You always confuse planning with progressing, consuming with growing, thinking about your future self with actually becoming her. So you spend hours organizing your Notion, saving productivity threads, screenshotting motivational quotes, talking about your goals endlessly to other people, and for a moment it does feel like progress, but it's not. It's emotional cosplay. You feel like the kind of person who changes their life without actually doing the boring, unfiltered parts that actually change your life. And I say this with love because I've done it too. So, no, it's not too late. You're breathing, you're here, you're listening. That means there's still time to change how this year ends and how the next one begins. But if you keep treating these next 2 weeks like a waiting room for January, you're just gonna end up repeating the same year with slightly different aesthetics. Third thing you need to know is the mindset shift. I want you to look at the next 14 days like a mini training camp for the person you keep saying you want to be. Not a cute little soft reset, a deliberate experiment in becoming the version of you who actually follows through. Most people by the end of this year, they're about to check out mentally, or over explain their lack of effort as self care, or even blame the holidays for their lack of direction. But you're not most people. If you were, you wouldn't even be here. While everyone is sliding into full shutdown mode, you're going to use these next 2 weeks to build clarity about who you're becoming, build evidence that you can actually stick to something, and build momentum so that January isn't a starting line, it's a continuation. So think of it this way. If you can't stay consistent for 14 days, what makes you think that a 12-month transformation is coming? Here, we're not aiming for perfection, we're aiming for movement. So, the fourth thing I need you to know is that you need to get painfully clear on who she is. You keep saying, I want to become her. Okay, but who is she? She's not the Pinterest collage. She's not the aesthetic. I mean, who is she in detail? What time does she wake up? What does she do in the first 30 minutes of her day? How does she make decisions when she's tired? How does she handle stress? What is a non negotiable for her health, her money, her work, her relationships? What does she do in her free time? Because you cannot become someone you refuse to define. You cannot channel someone who you don't even know. So tonight, after this video, I want you to sit down and write this out. The first thing is 3 words that describe future you. So, for example, you could say disciplined, she is calm, intentional, creative, or even consistent. The second thing is one paragraph describing a normal weekday in her life. Not a fantasy day in Bali, not a weekend in Paris, just a regular Tuesday. The third one is one paragraph describing how she handles a bad day. Because bad days are guaranteed. The way you respond is what separates you from the version of you that keeps quitting. This will be your character script. So for the next 14 days, we're gonna practice becoming her in small, specific, and doable ways. Fifth thing you need to know is stop doing everything. Choose 1 or 3 focus areas. One of the biggest reasons why you keep burning out is simple. You're trying to rebuild your entire life all at once. You want to fix your body, fix your sleep, fix your money, fix your social life, fix your relationship, fix your career, fix your mental health all in the same week. And then you wonder why you crash. So for the next 2 weeks, I want you to pick out 3 focus areas and that's it. If you're overwhelmed, just pick one. If you're stable enough or you want to stretch yourself, then pick 2 or 3, but only if they're realistic. So for example, for your health, you can move your body every day and eat one nutritious meal. For business or work, you can do 2 hours of deep work. Mindset, you can do 10 minutes of journaling or reading instead of scrolling. And then ask yourself, if I only improve these 1 to 3 areas for 14 days, would future me be grateful? And if the answer is yes, write them down. Those are your focus areas. The sixth thing you need to know is how to create the stakes. Make it cost you something. Most people don't get to follow through because there's no real consequence for quitting. If you skip your workout today, nothing explodes. If you don't work on your business, no one yells at you. If you scroll on TikTok instead of studying, no alarm goes off. Life lets you slide, so you keep sliding. So for the next 2 weeks, you're going to create your own stakes. And here's how you can do it. So the first one is a social stake. Tell 1 to 2 trusted people exactly what you're doing for the next 2 weeks. You can say something like, I'm going to move my body every day for 14 days. I'm going to post content every day until January 1. I'm going to study 1.5 hours every day, non negotiable. And then ask them to check in. Not to nag you, but to remind you of who you keep saying you want to be. The second thing is a financial stake. Give a friend or a trusted person an amount of money that kind of stings a little. Tell them, if I don't do this every day, donate this to a cause that I hate, or spend it on something I wouldn't like, or you can tell them to spend it for themselves. You're not doing this to punish yourself. You're teaching your brain that your word actually matters. Third thing you can do is a time stake. For 2 weeks, you can cut one time wasting behavior drastically. You can delete TikTok from your phone except for 1 hour window. You can stop scrolling in bed. You can stop saying just one episode when you know that it's never just one more episode. You're not trying to become a slave. You're simply making it more uncomfortable to keep betraying your future self than to actually show up for her. The next thing is to design your 14-day get your shit together protocol. Okay, let's make this practical. Every day for the next 14 days, you will have one non negotiable body action. May this be walking for 30 minutes, doing a home workout, stretching before bed or when you wake up, and then one non negotiable mind action. You can journal 1 page, maybe read 3, 5, 10 pages of a real book. Maybe you can brain dump your thoughts instead of swallowing them. And then the third one is one non negotiable future action, something that moves your life forward long term. So may this be applying to one job or securing one client, maybe working 60 to 90 hours on your business or working on your skills. May this be planning or preparing your week or meal prepping intentionally, and that's it. 3 pillars every day: body, mind, and future. No more 20-step morning routines that you abandon by day 3. You can absolutely layer more things on top if you have the capacity, but your bare minimum is: did I take care of my body, my mind, and my future today? If yes, you're not behind. You're still building. Next is to expect resistance and move anyway. The first few days are going to feel cute. You're going to feel motivated, a little bit obsessed, and maybe even excited. Then something happens. You'll sleep late, you'll get invited out, you'll get cramps, you'll have a bad mental health day. Maybe you'll even feel that voice saying, "It's okay, I'll restart tomorrow." But that moment is the entire point of this 2 week experiment. You're not practicing being disciplined when it's easy. You're practicing being the kind of woman who moves even when it's annoying, even when it's boring, even when it's inconvenient. When that happens, I want you to ask yourself one question. If I already was the version of me that I was trying to become, what would she do with this exact day? Not on a perfect day, on this day, with this mood, with this headache, with this schedule. Then do the smallest version of that. Maybe you can't do a full workout yet, but you can stretch and walk for 10 minutes. Maybe you can't do deep work for 2 hours, but you can send one email. Maybe you can't do a full journal session, but you can write 3 honest sentences about what happened yesterday, how you feel that day, or maybe even just random thoughts. That's how identity actually shifts. Microproof, not grand gestures. The next thing is to use these 14 days to get ahead of everyone else. Here's the part that no one's saying out loud. Most people will wake up on January 1st in cold start mode. No habits, no rhythm, just the new year vibe and the pressure. But you, if you actually commit to this, you enter the new year with 14 days of evidence that you can actually keep promises to yourself. You enter the new year with clear understanding of what future you actually want. You enter 2026 with tiny systems already in motion, designed to keep you going for the rest of the year. You're not writing New Year, New Me in your story. You're quietly continuing what you already built while everyone else was still convincing themselves that they'll start on January 1st. But getting ahead of everyone isn't about being better than them. It's about finally not going with the flow or doing what everyone else is doing. The last thing is how to start. Here's your 2 week starter. If you're serious about this, screenshot this and actually do it. So before you go to bed tonight, first thing is write down your 3 identity words for 2026. Second is choose 1 to 3 focus areas for the next 14 days. Third is to define your body, mind, and future non-negotiables. Fourth thing, create one stake. Fifth is to plan your tomorrow hour by hour from wake up to sleep. May it be loosely but honestly. And tomorrow, when your alarm goes off and you don't feel like it, remember, you're not doing these things because you're motivated. You're doing this because you're done living the same year on repeat. If there's anything you need to take away from this, it's that 2 weeks from now, you will meet one of two versions of yourself. The one who kept scrolling, kept planning, kept lying to herself that January would fix everything, or the one who decided in the middle of chaos, in the middle of the holidays, in the middle of her doubt, that she was done waiting for permission. You don't control what happens in the world in the next 14 days, but you can control what you repeat, what you do, what you tolerate from yourself, and what you decide to build quietly even when no one is watching. You're gonna waste 2 weeks of your life if you don't listen to me. Not because these days aren't valuable, but because you'll throw them away on the belief that later is safer than now. It's not. So get your shit together, choose your 1 to 3 areas, show up for 14 days, and let everybody else wait for January. But you'll already be in motion. You're already steps ahead.